There comes a moment, just before a new chapter opens, when the unseen becomes more powerful than the seen. This is that moment. The days before April are not ordinary days. They are a gateway, a spiritual threshold where your thoughts, your words, and your expectations begin shaping what is about to unfold. What you claim now will echo into the weeks ahead, quietly arranging events, opportunities, and outcomes in your favor. Most people step into a new month passively. They wait, they hope, they react. But there is another way, a higher way. You do not wait for April to bring you something. You claim what April will bring. You decide in advance what is already yours. There is a law at work, whether you see it or not. Whatever you deeply accept as true begins to move toward you, not through struggle, not through force, but through alignment. When you claim something with certainty, the world begins to rearrange itself to match that certainty. So before April begins, you must make a decision, not a wish, not a vague desire, a decision. You must declare, quietly but firmly, what this next chapter holds for you. Say to yourself, April is already working in my favor, and do not say it lightly, say it until it feels real. Say it until doubt has no place to stand. Because the truth is, life responds not to your occasional thoughts, but to your dominant beliefs. If you enter April expecting delay, confusion, or disappointment, you will unknowingly invite those very things. But if you step forward with the inner knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly for you, you activate a different chain of events. You must claim clarity before confusion appears. You must claim success before results are visible. You must claim peace before circumstances test you. This is not pretending. This is choosing the reality you align with. There is a quiet power in saying, "It is already done." These words shift something within you. They remove resistance. They dissolve fear. They place you in a state where you are no longer chasing, you are receiving. And when you are in that state, things begin to happen in ways you cannot fully explain. Doors open that you did not knock on. People enter your life at the exact moment you need them. Solutions appear where there once seemed to be none. It feels almost effortless, as if something greater than you is arranging it all. But this only happens when you claim it first. Do not wait for evidence. Evidence follows belief, always. Before April begins, sit quietly with yourself and decide what you are accepting as truth. Not what you fear, not what you doubt, but what you choose. Choose abundance over lack. Choose ease over struggle. Choose certainty over hesitation. And then hold that choice. Protect it. Do not allow passing circumstances to shake it. The outer world may take a moment to catch up, but it always does. You must understand this. Every great shift begins invisibly. Nothing changes on the surface until something changes within. That is why this moment, right now, before April begins, is so powerful. You are planting seeds in the unseen, and those seeds will grow, but only if you claim them. Say it clearly, April brings me exactly what I need at exactly the right time. Feel the truth of it. Let it settle into your mind. Let it replace every anxious thought. There is no need to force anything. What is meant for you cannot miss you. What belongs to you will find its way. Your only role is to align with it, to accept it, to claim it, and once you do, something remarkable happens. You begin to move differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with a quiet confidence that does not need validation. And this inner shift changes how others respond to you, how opportunities appear, how life unfolds. It all begins with a simple but powerful act, claiming. So do not enter April uncertain. Do not enter it hoping things will improve. Enter it knowing that they already have. Because the moment you claim it, the process begins. And what follows will not feel like coincidence. It will feel like alignment. There is a powerful moment just before something new begins. A quiet space where nothing has fully taken form yet, and everything is still possible. This is where creation truly happens, not in the visible world, but in the unseen, where your beliefs take root and begin shaping what is to come. Before April begins, you are standing in that exact space, whether you realize it or not. And what you do here, what you claim here, will determine what unfolds in the days ahead. Most people wait for life to show them something before they believe in it. They look for signs, for proof, for visible results, and only then do they allow themselves to feel certain. But this is working in reverse. The outer world does not lead, it follows. It reflects back what you have already accepted within yourself. So if you wait to see success before believing in it, you may wait indefinitely, but the moment you decide, with quiet certainty, that something is already yours, you begin a process that cannot be stopped. To claim your desired reality is not to wish for it or hope for it. It is to accept it as fact in your inner world, even if nothing around you yet reflects it. It is a decision so firm that doubt has no room to grow. You are not asking, you are not negotiating, you are not wondering if it will happen. You are stating that it is already done, and allowing life to rearrange itself accordingly. This is where most people hesitate. They feel the pull of doubt, the voice that says, "But what if it doesn't happen?" And so they hold back. They claim something for a moment, and then they withdraw it with fear. But you must understand that this wavering is what delays the outcome. The world responds to consistency, to conviction, to the steady knowing that does not shift with circumstances. Before April begins, you have the opportunity to establish that knowing. Not for a moment, not as a passing thought, but as a foundation. You decide what is true for you, and you hold that truth, regardless of what appears around you. This is how reality is shaped. Imagine carrying the feeling that everything you desire is already secured. Not something you are chasing, not something you are waiting for, but something that already belongs to you. Notice how this changes your energy. Notice how it removes urgency, pressure, and fear. You are no longer trying to make something happen, you are simply allowing it to unfold. This inner shift is subtle, but it is powerful. It changes how you think, how you speak, how you act. And these changes, though they may seem small, begin to influence everything around you. Opportunities align, conversations shift, decisions become clearer. It is not force that creates this movement, but alignment. When you claim your reality before it appears, you are stepping into alignment with it ahead of time. You are meeting it halfway, in the unseen. And because of this, when it finally becomes visible, it feels natural, almost inevitable. There is no need to figure out every detail. The mind often tries to understand how something will happen, but that is not your role. Your role is to decide what is true and to remain faithful to that decision. The how takes care of itself in ways that you cannot always predict. You may find that things begin to fall into place in unexpected ways. A delay that once seemed frustrating turns out to be perfectly timed. A chance encounter leads to something meaningful. A situation that appeared uncertain suddenly becomes clear. These are not coincidences. They are the natural result of the reality you have claimed. But this only happens when you stay aligned with your claim. If you return to doubt, if you begin questioning whether it will happen, you interrupt the process. Not permanently, but enough to slow it down. This is why it is important to guard your thoughts, especially in this early stage. What you are doing now is setting the tone for everything that follows. Before April begins, take a moment to become very clear about what you are claiming, not in vague terms, but with precision. What does your ideal reality look like? How does it feel? What are you accepting as already true? Once you decide, hold on to it. Return to it whenever your mind wanders. Let it become familiar, comfortable, natural. The more you dwell in this state, the more real it becomes within you. And once it is real within you, it must, in time, become real around you. This is not something you need to force. It is a law, as consistent as any natural law. What you impress upon your inner world will eventually express itself in your outer world. So do not underestimate this moment. Do not treat it lightly. You are not simply thinking about what you want. You are setting something into motion. You are choosing the version of reality you will experience. And as you move into April, carry this knowing with you, not as effort, but as certainty, not as something fragile, but as something established. Let your thoughts return to it naturally, like something already familiar and secure. Because the moment you truly claim your desired reality, before there is any evidence, you step into a different experience of life. One where you are no longer reacting to what happens, but quietly shaping it from within. There is a distinct difference between hope and certainty, though many people confuse the two. Hope still carries a quiet doubt within it. It says, maybe things will work out, maybe this time will be different. It leans on possibility, but it does not fully stand in belief. Certainty, on the other hand, is steady, grounded, and unwavering. It does not ask if something will happen. It knows. And this knowing, though invisible, is what shapes the visible world. As you approach April, the state you choose to enter with will determine far more than any plan, effort, or external condition. If you step forward with hope, you remain in a place of waiting. You look outward for confirmation. You allow circumstances to decide how you feel. But if you enter with certainty, something shifts. You no longer wait for life to prove itself to you. You become the one who defines what is already true. Certainty is not loud. It does not need to announce itself or convince anyone else. It is quiet, almost unshakable. It feels like a deep inner decision that has already been made. And once this decision is made, everything begins to align around it. When you carry certainty, your thoughts begin to organize themselves differently. You no longer entertain every passing doubt. You no longer give energy to every fear. Your mind becomes more focused, more deliberate. You begin to think from the outcome, not toward it. This is a subtle but powerful shift. Instead of asking, "What if things go wrong?" you naturally think, "Everything is working out exactly as it should." Instead of worrying about timing, you trust that everything is unfolding at the right moment. This does not mean you ignore reality. It means you choose which version of reality you align with. Most people allow their emotions to be dictated by what they see. If something goes wrong, they feel discouraged. If something goes right, they feel hopeful again. They are constantly reacting, constantly shifting. But certainty creates stability. It allows you to remain steady, even when the outer world appears uncertain. This steadiness is what creates momentum. Because when you are not constantly pulled in different directions by doubt and fear, your energy becomes focused. And focused energy is powerful. It moves things, it creates change, it draws opportunities toward you. As you move into April, imagine carrying this kind of certainty with you. Not forcing yourself to believe, but choosing to believe. There is a difference. Forcing creates resistance. Choosing creates alignment. You simply decide that things are working in your favor, and you allow that decision to guide your thoughts. You may not see immediate evidence. In fact, there may be moments when the opposite appears to be true. But this is where certainty becomes important. It does not depend on what is happening right now. It is rooted in what you know is unfolding, even if it is not yet visible. Think of it like planting a seed. Once the seed is planted, you do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust the process. You understand that growth is happening beneath the surface. Certainty works the same way. Once you have made the decision, you allow it to take root. And as it does, you begin to notice changes. Not always dramatic at first, but subtle. You feel calmer, more confident, less reactive. You begin to move through situations with a sense of ease, even when they would have once caused stress. This is how you know something is shifting. Opportunities begin to appear, often in unexpected ways. Conversations lead to new ideas. Small decisions create larger outcomes. Things begin to connect. And while it may seem coincidental, it is actually the result of the state you are holding. Certainty does not mean everything happens instantly or without effort. It means that everything is moving in the right direction, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. It allows you to take action without fear, to make decisions without hesitation, to move forward without constantly second-guessing yourself. There is a freedom in this state. You are no longer burdened by the need to control every detail. You trust that things are unfolding as they should, and this trust allows you to remain open, adaptable, and aware of opportunities as they arise. Before April begins, you are given a choice, not by anyone else, but by yourself. You can enter the new month as you have before, hoping things improve, reacting to whatever comes your way. Or you can choose certainty. You can decide once and for all that things are aligning for you. This decision may seem simple, but it is not always easy. It requires you to let go of old patterns of thinking. It requires you to stop giving power to doubt. It requires you to trust something that you cannot yet see. But once you make this shift, everything changes. Not all at once, not in a way that is always obvious, but in a way that is consistent and undeniable over time. You begin to experience life differently. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You are no longer waiting for things to happen. You are participating in the process, guiding it through your beliefs, your expectations, your inner state. And as you carry this certainty into April, you will notice that things begin to unfold with a sense of ease. Not because life has suddenly become perfect, but because you are no longer resisting it. You are aligned with it. This alignment is what creates effortless movement. It is what allows things to fall into place without constant struggle. It is what transforms the way you experience each day. So as this new month approaches, do not ask yourself what might happen. Decide what is happening. Do not wait for proof. Become the proof through your certainty. There is a moment before anything truly begins where the direction of everything that follows is quietly decided, not by external events, but by what you choose to accept within yourself. Before the month even arrives, before circumstances take shape, before results appear, there is an unseen agreement you make with life. This agreement is not spoken out loud, yet it is powerful. It is formed through your certainty, through what you accept as already aligned, already working, already done. Most people overlook this moment. They move into a new month carrying the same doubts, the same uncertainties, the same quiet fears about what might go wrong. They tell themselves they will see how things go, that they will respond when situations arise, that they will adjust based on what happens. But this approach places them in a reactive position, always waiting, always adjusting, always responding to life instead of shaping it. There is another way to enter a new month, one that shifts everything before anything even happens. It begins with claiming certainty. Not hope, not expectation, but certainty. A calm, grounded knowing that things are already aligned in your favor, even if there is no visible proof yet. This certainty is not forced. It is chosen. It is a decision that you make internally, and once you make it, you hold it without needing constant reassurance. When you claim certainty before the month begins, you are setting a foundation that everything else builds upon. Your thoughts begin to organize themselves around this decision. Instead of entertaining doubt, your mind naturally returns to the idea that things are working out. Instead of questioning outcomes, you begin to assume alignment. This shift may seem small, but it changes the way you experience everything. You begin to move differently. There is less hesitation in your actions, less second-guessing in your decisions. You are no longer trying to control every outcome because you trust that the outcomes are already aligned. This trust removes a great deal of pressure. It allows you to act with clarity rather than fear, with purpose rather than uncertainty. Certainty also changes the way you interpret events. When something unexpected happens, you do not immediately assume it is a problem. Instead, you see it as part of the alignment, something that is leading you toward the result you have already accepted as true. This perspective keeps you steady. It prevents you from being pulled into cycles of doubt and reaction. Without certainty, every small challenge can feel like a setback, every delay can feel like failure. But with certainty, those same experiences take on a different meaning. They become steps in a process that is already working in your favor. You remain calm, focused, and grounded, even when things are not yet clear. This state of being creates a kind of effortless momentum. Because you are not constantly resisting what is happening, energy flows more freely. Opportunities are easier to recognize. Decisions feel more natural. You are not forcing outcomes, you are allowing them to unfold. What you accept as already aligned begins to express itself through your actions, your words, your presence. People respond differently to you. Situations begin to shift. Not because you are controlling them, but because you are aligned with a version of reality where things are already working out. It is important to understand that certainty does not mean you will never feel a moment of doubt. The mind may still bring up old patterns, old fears, old questions. But the difference is that you do not attach yourself to those thoughts. You do not give them authority. You return to your certainty again and again until it becomes stronger than any doubt. This is a practice, but it is also a choice. Each time you choose certainty, you reinforce it. Each time you return to the idea that things are aligned, you strengthen that belief, and over time it becomes natural. It becomes your default state. Before the month begins, take a moment to decide what you are accepting as already aligned. Be clear with yourself. Not vague, not uncertain, but clear. What does alignment look like for you? What are you choosing to believe is already in motion? Once you decide, Hold that decision with quiet confidence. You do not need to tell anyone. You do not need to prove it. This is an internal shift, and it works from the inside out. The more you stay connected to this certainty, the more it begins to shape your experience.